Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Michelle.
Hello, Rosaline.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Happy Monday. How was the
Happy
weekend?
Monday. Happy February.
Happy February. The year is going fast, fast, fast again.
It is. I mentioned that because although we tried to get episodes out once or twice a month,
Mm-hmm.
it's just quite noteworthy. I think the fact that we are at February already, and yeah, things are
Yeah,
moving quickly.
yeah. At least we managed to get one out in January around planning and vision statement and all of that. So we did well.
Yes,
Yeah. And
absolutely.
I can't believe that it's going to a year now that we started doing this January. So we've done 6 months.
It's unbelievable,
Amazing.
isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
I think that sort of informs what we're talking about today, doesn't it? Really,
Yeah,
the fact
it
that
does.
Workwise Business Insights came out of the idea of a collaboration.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we thought we'd maybe talk a little bit more about that,
Yeah.
what collaboration is, and tips and things that we've learned along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it's certainly something that I've enjoyed doing, and I think makes the sort of journey of being a business owner even more enjoyable because it
Mm-hmm.
means that you're not working in isolation. What do
Mm-hmm.
you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Especially after coming out of COVID, a lot of people, suffered from the effects of COVID. And some people as well, they started their business because of some of the things they had time to reflect. So coming out of COVID, they just decided, I'm not going back to my day job or my 9 to 5 or wherever. Let me start this. And they then found out it's not as easy as what they thought because they find themselves working silo because they couldn't find anybody to collaborate with. And I think I'm happy that we came together in time. So what started like, oh, let's try this on. This is our 7th month. And yeah, we've learned quite a lot. So for our viewers, what we're just going to talk about, to kind of review what we've done in the last 6 months, which we did in our January episode anyway, and then to talk about maybe lesson learned, some of the things in terms of what collaboration means to us, and then share some aspects of tips if it's okay. Michelle?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's really sort of timely to talk about this because I'm certainly from my experience, I'm finding a lot of people are now in the business communities that I attend, the network meetings, the sort of co-working groups that I run, my own community. People are wanting to explore collaboration. They're wanting to
Yeah.
look at how they can work with other people and how they can reach more people with the things that they offer and the services that they provide.
Mm. That's great. And I think it's the same thing that I found as well. Remember, I've always used the word power team. So because for me, that's another word for collaborating or collaboration. So power team, you find somebody that you think actually we can work well together, share ideas, and even to kind of pass businesses to each other if makes sense. But it's just to kind of share the ideas in terms of because you, Michelle, might have been in business longer than I do. What are the tips? What are your highs and lows? What lessons have you learned along the way that you could share with me? And I think that is what collaboration means because it kind of help each other. We help each other to achieve a common goal. That is the main thing. And then share our knowledge. That is what we've done so far, sharing our knowledge, our skills, even our resources a lot. Sometimes Michelle talks about because when we wanted to kind of look at designing our logo, Michelle, you volunteered that you actually had a VA, virtual assistant, that could do that, to support us. And we did that. So that collab, and that was the area that I didn't have anyway. So we've shared ideas, and we've actually um, kind of coordinate effort to resolve some problems. Because, for example, the platform that we're using now, we actually came together. We met with the the people that are actually doing the platform, which is the Riverside. They try to explain other kind of packages that we could move on, that we improve this as well. So those are the things that we're trying to say, okay, what are the things that we could do to solve some of the problems that we're having when we record our episode as well. And I think we've also created something new as well in terms of some of the things, because I remember in December we thinking about what should we do. Then we started talking about, okay, a lot of people, they go through stress during Christmas. Let's talk about what did we call it? Relax. It's only Christmas or something. So we share
Yeah.
tips and ideas. So for me, collaborating is actually partnering with others or someone in a cooperative and productive manner to achieve shared goals, you know, making use of our strengths and expertise.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfectly put. I think that whole idea of harnessing skills
Mm-hmm.
and strengths is just yeah, because quite often, particularly when you're running your own business, you will stumble across something that you can't do because it's just not your skill
Mm-hmm.
set. And actually, working in collaboration with somebody who maybe brings completely different skills to the table, you learn from that as well, don't you? So,
Yeah.
okay, I had no idea about Riverside, I had none whatsoever. I wouldn't have known where to start. And actually, you harnessed your network of people who knew about this platform and were able
My
to
son,
share that knowledge.
my son to be precise.
Ah, so thanks to your son, and you've learnt from him and you've shared that with me, and it's just, and I can now have conversations with people because they are quite interested when they hear about Workwise business insights, and it's nice to be
Mm-hmm.
able to pass on that knowledge or that understanding to other people, but particularly working very closely with somebody like you and I work together,
Yeah.
we also have other conversations, don't we? It's not
Yeah.
just about having going through the process of bringing Workwise business insights to our YouTube channel. It's also about, you know what, today I'm struggling with something, and we'll talk things through. And I know that I've got a trusted business companion. There are so many benefits from working alongside other people. Um, and it's enjoyable, it's fun, you learn stuff, you share, you support, and I think that's a nice way to do business personally.
Yeah. 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 I love that. I love that. Yeah. Um, we're talking about tips as well. What are the tips that you could share with our viewers in terms of the way we've worked together? You know.
I think my biggest tip is work with somebody who you've got shared values with, because an opportunity might come up to work with somebody who maybe is on a different path to you, who's maybe, I don't know, their values are different to yours, their mission is different to yours.
Mm,
And I think that probably creates quite a lot of friction. Whereas I think, Rosaline, you and I share quite a lot of values.
I do. We do.
We work very closely with people, sometimes in quite difficult and sensitive situations. We share professional background, we
Mm-hmm.
share an awful lot of the core sort of values that I would say are important to me.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that without that, I don't think we would be able to have the conversations that we have, and I don't think we'd be able to bring Workwise business insights to
Yeah.
our audience in quite the same way. What do
Yeah.
you think?
I think you're spot on because that shared values, I love that because and we shared, like you said, professional background as well. And I think that was one of the things that actually connected us together. And remember when we first met, I was always talking about power team, power team. Think about people that you can work well with. Then you then have your value added partners together. If somebody comes along and said, okay, I'm actually looking for a coach and I'm looking for an HR, we've got both within us, isn't it? So if somebody then is looking for somebody, then you two can actually say, oh, I've got somebody that can support, you know. So I think you use the word called shared values. I will use shared goals.
Yeah,
So which
that's
is
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's the same. So I'm just using my own words that I think in terms of our objectives is kind of aligned together. You know, we talked about improving leadership effectiveness. We've talked about high performing teams. Remember when we first started in one of
Yeah.
our things? You know, we talked about healthy company culture.
Mm.
So those are the things that I think, in addition to sharing, kind of common professional background in terms of what we both do as well. All these things is very, very, very important in what we do, and also we ensure that we understand and agree on desired outcomes or what we want to achieve in our kind of topics that we've chosen, or even in anything that we do. So I love the alignment around shared goals for both of us, and we always stayed focused in whatever that we want to do.
Absolutely. And I think
Yeah,
to add to that, planning is probably a
yeah.
huge part of it, isn't it? And I think it's fair to say that you're probably a better planner than me.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think that that's a really good demonstration of actually, I recognise that and I value that. I think that's really important. And I think if you think about planning and you think about the skills that you either have in common or don't with the person that you're collaborating with, then that enables you to plan
Yeah.
for success because you then think very carefully about how you're going to use one another's skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, core values, shared goals, planning. What else do you think in terms of tips?
Mm. You know, you said something about which I don't believe anyway. You said I'm probably a better planner than you. I'll just use, we leverage each other's strength, if I can call it that way. We've recognized and we respect each other's skills and knowledge. That's what I'm going to call it. So, as HR consultants, being a professional, I can bring value and structured and policy oriented perspective, why you as a coach, Michelle, you can offer, and which we've done, to be honest with you, individual development and leadership coaching, some of the things that you do. Because sometimes you might not believe it, or you might not be aware that you're actually doing it, and that's what you do. Because sometimes I'll suggest something before we even start recording, or we're planning for our next recording. You say, oh, why don't we do it this way? So I think what we've done that has actually made it successful for us, we've combined both our perspectives to create more holistic solution for our
Yeah,
viewers. And I think it will benefit our clients if they watch our previous videos as well.
yeah. I think that's a great word actually,
Yeah. So
leverage. Because when you think about leverage, it's almost like having the support to make something happen. And that might
mm-hmm.
mean that you're leveraging my resources, networks, whatever, and vice versa. So it's always kind of a support at the point that it's needed to make sure that we're moving forward in the right direction.
Mm.
Um, and I've just written down power team because whenever I hear you say power team, I just think yes, I absolutely love that because you're right. It's about team, isn't it? That's probably
Mm-hmm.
the biggest tip of all. It's
Yeah.
about being a team.
Yeah. We are a team, not just team. That's as a power team. We are motivated, strong. So yeah.
And I
And
think, sorry, go on.
go on, go on.
I was going to say that team then takes
Mm-hmm.
me to communication, which, as you've said,
That
we've
was what I was
covered a
gonna
lot
say.
of these things.
I was gonna say we've been transparent. We've been open and transparent in our communication. That was what I was gonna say. So well done. Continue. You see, we've got good minds, Michelle.
Thank you. Shared vision, mission, values. All of those things. I think without all of these things, it's difficult to keep something alive. So sometimes it's easy to start something, and you're kind of carried away in the beginning. It's great, it's new, it's
Mm-hmm.
exciting. There's so much new stuff to learn. But without the sort of the building blocks of what makes
Mm-hmm.
collaboration really work, it's probably not going to last. So I'm really glad that you've mentioned the fact that we've been doing this for 7 months, and that what we're actually saying here today is that use some of these foundation stones
Mm-hmm.
when you start a collaboration, or you're considering a collaboration, and think about how you can use those to make it successful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what we've done as well that I will kind of share with our viewers as well. We've actually maintained, we've maintained that communication, regular communication, whether we are recording or not, via text, email, that kind of stuff. We've actually maintained that. Because if you then wait till the day you guys gonna have meeting, you will become like a stranger. So we've maintained that line of communication, whether around our topics and everything. And I think it has been one of our framework that's actually helped us along the way, you know, and having a structured approach as well in terms of, okay, this is what we're going to do. Because I remember when we did the January episode as well, we are just thinking we're going to do something. Or not January episode, this episode actually, we should have done it last week. But then we started talking before recording. Something else came up, and they said, "Okay, let's deal with that." And that was what we did. We dealt with anyway. So maintaining that open communication and making sure, even if we then do meet at any networking, we kind of, find like 2 minutes to kind of talk about Workwise business insight, no matter how small it is. So yeah, and actually we've actually hold each other accountable as well for some of the specific tasks which we've discussed before this recording as well. So you have the areas that you're good at, some people that you need to reach out with to our guests, and I have some people that actually, okay, let me reach out to them, and then we then come back. So yeah, and I think we've maintained that open communication.
Absolutely. I'm jotting all of these down, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking what I might do coming out, or what I will do, I commit to doing. I'll put together like a framework of some of these
Ah,
things, a bit of
okay.
a checklist, and we can pop a link for that in the notes for the episode.
I didn't mean
Because
to put you on the frame. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, which is good. Framework.
yeah, I'm just thinking
Another
it's more
tax
this.
solution.
Of course, the discussion is really useful, and I'm just
Yeah.
thinking actually if there's something that we can do to capture it and distill it down so that anybody who's thinking about doing something similar or collaborating with somebody else in a completely different way, I think
Mm-hmm.
these principles apply no matter what. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter what business your background you're from, it doesn't matter what your
Yeah.
potential collaboration is about,
Yeah.
these are the things that have helped us to really put a solid framework in place for us to continue to deliver these
To
episodes.
deliver this. Yeah. 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 Otherwise, probably would have given up and just think, what was the point? And I think another thing that we've done, I know we've talked about shared values and all of that. There's if I can call it shared resources and knowledge. We've exchanged, materials, around. I'll call it materials because you did an episode on your area of expertise. I did another episode on my own area of expertise as well. So you did your own around what how you support other people, which is around coaching as well, and you touched around leadership, and all of that. And from that as well, you talked about some of kind of resources. You mentioned, a particular book which we drop on that episode as well. Why myself I talked about what HR is, because a lot of people will say, what is that? Because a lot of people's mindset around human resources, around discipline and whatever, but it goes beyond that for small businesses. Then, in terms of the legal compliance of it, we talked about the recruitment strategies. So we've shared these resources, from both perspectives, and then, you know, to broaden our own kind of knowledge, because from there I then learned from you, you learned from me, even though you've got HR background and we know employment law changes all the time. So yeah.
Well, there's one thing for certain, I couldn't walk straight back into an HR role. I could not do that because things have changed so drastically since I was last in that environment. But I know that, I recognise that, and so
Mm-hmm.
now I wouldn't give anybody HR advice. The first thing I would say to somebody if they ask is speak to Rosaline, because
Yeah.
she's the person, the expert in the field.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned already, that is a benefit of collaboration, because it absolutely means that I can refer business to you, and
Vice
it's good
versa.
to know that in my power team I can just say trusted contact, somebody that I would absolutely say you have to talk to. So it's such a nice sort of
Things
approach
to
to
do.
business, I think, on
Mm-hmm.
so many levels.
Yeah. 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 And from what you just said, and that is respect for each other's expertise, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't it?
respect. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you Michelle could have said, actually, because I am a mentor as well, and mentoring and coaching linked together, I could have said something, but I would then say, oh, Michelle is an expert. You could have said, oh, I've got HR background, I'll advise you. But you respecting my expertise and me, Rosaline, respecting your expertise is actually very, very good approach. What we're doing is we're acknowledging that, Michelle as a coach and Rosaline as HR, we are kind of we have distinctive complementary field, and that's kind of setting boundaries. Even though I know a bit about coaching, I need to make sure Michelle as the expert will deal with that. So vice versa. So we need to have we actually 100% from what we've done so far in the past 7 months, we've avoided second guessing or undermining each other's opinion or expertise. So we've done referrals. You've asked me to speak to somebody, or you said, "Oh, I've got somebody that will call you," that kind of stuff. So yeah.
And actually, you've raised such an important point there, Rosalind, because one of the things that might put people off collaborating is that sense of, well, am I opening myself up to the potential of somebody taking my clients or my opportunities, or does it dilute what I do? Do I need to be more protective of my stuff? Is it comfortable? Is it safe for me to sort of do something that takes me away from what I do?
Yeah.
Um, and I would say you've perfectly demonstrated that a good collaboration doesn't work in that way. You know, there are
Yeah.
lots of opportunities out there, and actually, if you set the scene for how your collaboration is going to work, in actual
Mm-hmm.
fact, it generates opportunities. It doesn't
Yeah.
stop them, it creates
Yeah.
them. And I think if you have the right mindset around it, and you do some of the things or all of the things that we're talking about here,
Mm-hmm.
then there are more benefits than there are downfalls.
Of course.
A
And I
hundred
like that.
times over, 1,000 times over.
200%. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah. I
think for
like that.
anybody that might be a little bit worried about, oh goodness, I'm not sure whether I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be letting my trade secrets go. Well,
Out. Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
if you do,
Yeah.
like, if you have a secret source that you don't want to share, then you don't have to share it, but you can
Yeah.
still work collaboratively with
With
somebody and bring
somebody.
together all of those
Of course.
skills
Yeah.
and reap the benefits of the potential additional opportunities that it brings that you wouldn't otherwise have had.
Otherwise. Yeah. 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 It's been great, seriously, collaborating with you, Michelle, because we've celebrated each other's success, celebrated our wins, and challenges as well, and
Absolutely,
yeah,
yeah. No,
even
I've
today,
loved it.
yeah,
Yeah. And you're right. You know, it's nice to know that you've got that safe space because you've developed a relationship from working closely with somebody. You've got that safe space to be able to say, Rosaline, have you ever had this situation? You've helped me enormously. You know, we had a really good chat last week, and I'm
yeah,
so
yeah,
grateful to you. And actually, the benefits, as I say, far outweigh any negatives. And
yeah,
actually, it's a really nice way to work. So
it
thank
is.
you.
And thank you as well. Thank you. It's been so good because when we both suggested it, I just said, "Oh, should we do it? Should we do it?" And I think we didn't kickstart it until after 3 months or so. So so far so good. And then yeah, it's really good. So for people who are thinking of collaborating together, we hope that you've learned from this, and by following our tips, that is what we've done, to build our strong and productive relationship that actually is enhancing, the values that we provide here as well, even the values that we provide to our clients as well, because a lot of things that we've actually learned from each other, both outside and within what we do, as Workwise Business Insights host as well. It has really helped us. So I'm speaking on behalf of myself and Michelle. So collaboration can lead to a more comprehensive and effective solution. If you're thinking of considering it, don't think, okay, am I, like Michelle said, am I exposing myself to, to a downfall? Or you see somebody's going to steal my ideas, but before you go into it, I'm just going to say is, network, look for your ideal team or partner before you go into it. It's not just anybody. That's
Yeah,
all I'm just going to say.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Um, but yeah, the opportunities come up, explore them, do it.
And if it doesn't work, you can always, how will I say it? Break the relationship.
Yeah,
You
get
break the chemistry. So from Michelle's coaching or mentoring,
yeah. I think get it right from the outset, and you're on to a winner.
until when, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's been good. So this episode is just celebrating our 7th month. So we hope to bring you more. We're learning every day. So we're actually exploring other things that we need to do to make it better. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that when we drop a new video, subscribe to all on the bell icon. Then you can get more. And we are open to suggestions as well. So like we said, we're learning. So before
Absolutely.
we reach our 12 months, so we can implement any suggestions. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for saying that. That's so
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Thank you and hope you enjoy this video.
Thanks so
Bye.
much. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye. Oh,
Okay.
I think that's brilliant.